Hello, everybody, and welcome to a belated edition of Step Chat here on the Float channel. Welcome. Good to see you all, or Float page, I should say. Good to see you all. Thank you all for being here. For those of you that I've not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Steve Jones. I am the executive producer of Float, of Aloft, of Fulcrum, and a couple other events, and even one more project that we're not talking about yet. But hi, good to see you all. So again, thank you all very much. I really do appreciate the fact that everybody's been so patient with me the last couple of weeks where we've had to swap Mondays and Sundays. But I promise now, at least for the foreseeable future, that we're back to the regular showcase on Sundays. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize a few people that were great enough to come out and help out with balloon designers in the last couple of weeks. Of course, you guys remember last week, Ryan Farewell from Tennessee was here with me working. And he was joined the very next day by the one and only T Money. Teresa Harding was here also. So Teresa and Ryan and myself and A to the L to the EXA put in a very, very, very long day yesterday, along with many, many, many very, very long days. I also want to give a special shout out to Doug Adoni, excuse me. Doug is from Hawaii. And Doug is one of our Float family members. He comes to Float quite often. About once a year, Doug comes out and visits family here in Western Washington. And he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in town, these dates to this date. Do you need help?" And I thought, well, hell, we can always use another set of hands at the Pride Parade. And he was tremendously helpful at the Pride Parade. Let's get to Aloft. For those of you unfamiliar, Aloft is our streaming service that we offer through the Floativerse. I do, again, before we get too far along here, I want to update you on past classes. Yes, again, I am so far behind, it's not even funny. I have still not had a chance yet to get to Sharissa Sawyer's class from May. I have not had a chance, obviously, to get to Stacy Chase's class from June. It is my intention tomorrow to start catching up on these classes. So I do apologize. And because I know that Sherry Hatcher is here, no, I've not recorded a podcast episode either. And I do apologize for that as well. So I will be trying to catch up on that in the next couple of days, which also means then I'll be doing 2 this month because I got to this is the June one that I haven't recorded yet. And then I got to do July at the same time. So I'm tired of shorting months. I want to make sure I want to get back on pace and get this done right. However, I am very glad to share with you that on the last day of June, we have finalized our class for July. Folks, let's give it up to the lovely and talented, the goddess herself, Dawn Gertman, with inflation plus floral equals fabulous. Because you know how I hate alliteration. So there we go. So Dawn is going to be teaching a class for us, combining floral elements along with your balloons, like how to do it, how it works together, how not to pop everything while you do it. That's going to be our class coming up in July. That is going to be July 29th. So it's practically a month away, which is good because that gives me plenty of time to catch up on everything. So we're very excited about that. Dawn is a fabulous instructor. I adore everything she does. I can't wait to see what she comes up with for this class. The class is scheduled again for July 29th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. If you are a member of Aloft, do nothing because you're already going to get the invitation on July 28th, and that'll be all taken care of for you. If you're not a member of Aloft, you can either join Aloft, which is $80 for 6 months, or $120 for an entire year of unlimited access. Or, of course, you can also turn around and you can buy a direct access to this class alone for $25. All right, let's get to some big-time Float news. Not a tremendous amount of Float stuff that you don't already know, but there's a few things here and there. First of all, I do want to remind everybody once again that if you are either a vendor coming to Float or interested in being a sponsor at Float. This is not being a vendor. Being a vendor and being a sponsor are 2 different things. If you're a vendor, basically you're just renting space in the vendor showcase and you have a booth. If you want to be a sponsor, that means like you want to, for example, host one of the parties, or if you want to present the lanyards, or you want to, I don't know, sponsor one of our competitions or something like that. That information, now that I have time again, is going to be officially released on July 14th. And I don't care what the hell happens. I can't wait anymore on this. I've dragged my feet way too long on this. So all of this information will be going out to sponsors on July 14th. Now, the other big deal that starts, well, it's already started, but it's the other big deal that really needs to be talked about is our float payment plan. That's right, folks, latex on layaway. The float payment plan, admittedly, we haven't been doing a lot of focus on this, and I kind of apologize for that because, again, that's me kind of dropping the ball. We didn't really get it set up until May, and, of course, what happened in May? We started getting really busy in May, and then, of course, June hit, and dear God, heaven, I'm dead. So I want to take that. We're going to start this campaign reminding everybody that the float payment plan program ends on July 31st. So if you are interested in taking advantage of the payment plan option for float, you must enroll in the program by no later than July 31st. Over the last week or so, since our last episode of Step Chat, we've gotten a couple questions, and I thought I would share those questions with all of you in case you also were wondering about them. Excuse me. Both of them happen to pertain to the fashion show. So let's talk about that very quickly. Question number one, can I still be in the fashion show even if I miss the deadline to sign up? The answer, of course, is yes, you can. As long as you are registered to attend Float 2026, you'll be part of the fashion show. But you also have to be able to prove that you are capable of making a legitimate dress in the showcase. What does this mean? Obviously, it means we need to see pictures of what you've done. The second question that we got, and I've actually gotten this a couple times this week, why is the fashion show at Float not a competition? This is a topic of conversation that we went back and forth on a couple of times. But the reason is pretty simple. We want the fashion show at Float to be both an exhibition of talent, and we want to encourage collaboration among both designers and attendees. Now, you might be sitting to yourself thinking, well, what does that mean? So one of the things that I'm doing with the fashion show this year, and this is something that the individuals that are being sponsored at Float to be in the fashion show, and right now there's a few, which we'll be announcing later this month, by the way. Those individuals will be required as part of their involvement in the fashion show to actually work on their dresses in public places. Now, we're going to sanction them off a little bit, like put stanchions up or caution tape or something, so that people can observe but not disturb. And so the idea here is that we want the dressmakers to be available to answer questions. We want dressmakers to be, we want this to be educational as well as inspiring. All right, let's get to what we like to refer to as our street level float content. The Monday show, I actually remembered this time to do a Step Chat survey. The last time show was on Monday. I completely forgot. And you could tell earlier today that the idea of a vacation was very much on my mind, because today's question was, in referring to a convention, do you consider going to a convention a vacation, or is it just an extension of work? Now, what's really funny is I'm gonna get to the answers here before we go too far into this. So 66% of you said absolutely not. Conventions are just an extension of my business life. And I understand that. I also think that the answers would be different if this was asked to a group of twisters, right? Most decorators, I think, look at a convention in a far more business perspective. I'm not suggesting the twisters aren't business oriented, but when you look at the activities and functions that take place at a twister event, for them, it very much is a vacation. So thank you very much for taking the time to fill out our survey. Once again, I do want to remind everybody that Float is on YouTube at youtube.com/@thefloativerse. We ask that you please like and subscribe and share our posts. It helps build the network, build the channel. It really help it. We are contemplating at one point, possibly, we talked about Twitch at one point. We talked about moving the show like Step Chat to Twitch. Now I think what we may start doing is we may start looking, we're looking into a simulcast. We're looking into the possibility of doing the show both on Float or on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time. Laurel, are you putting the new Working Wonders episodes on YouTube or just Step Chat? No, we are going to be putting the Working Wonders episodes out there as well. I just have to catch up on that. I also do want to remind everyone, now that my life is kind of getting back on its own regular schedule again, I hope to do this better now. Obviously, we're doing the live broadcast tonight here on Facebook. The full episode of tonight's episode will be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow, and then the summary episode will be uploaded on Wednesday. So for those of you that don't want to listen to me ramble for an hour or more, then I'll have that updated for you very soon. Also, I do want to remind everybody, now this is very important because this is tomorrow, or as we like to say internationally, mañana. Lisa McIntyre is going to be hosting her international episode. Tomorrow is the first Tuesday of the month. It's also the first of the month, but it happens to be the first Tuesday of the month. And with that, it means it is time for Kicking Back with Lisa Mac International Style, which means that Lisa's show will be broadcasting tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 10 a.m. Pacific Time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. Lisa has been, it's a wonderful idea that she's had. She is now going to offer one show a month, much earlier in the day, so folks from other countries can more easily join in on the fun. And I think it's an absolute great thing. But that is not the only show coming up, because our good friend Pia Guadalupe is coming back once again with another episode of La Familia Float con Pia Guadalupe. That'll be taking place on Monday, July 14th, 2 weeks from today. Very excited about that. 6 p.m. Pacific Time. She will be broadcasting both here on Facebook and on Instagram. The show will be simulcast that way. And of course, I do want to remind everybody that Step Chat should now be back to its regular schedule. We should now be back to Sundays for the foreseeable future, without any additional interruptions, barring any other major jobs that come up that interfere with me being here on Sundays, which is very rare. Like I said, June is about the only month where this happens a lot. But no, we're back to Sunday nights regular. So there we go. And folks, with that will do it for tonight's episode of Step Chat. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it.